If you look at the corner of the house, you can see the sculpture of a bird with small birds. That's pelican, which is here not for an accident, but this is actually built here on purpose. The pelicans, according to tradition, were the birds, which if they lack food for their kids, they can feed them with their own blood. So throughout history, pelicans become the symbol of charity and devotion. And this symbol is here because started on this street, which is called Piwna Street, the beer street, here was the first hospital in Old Warsaw. So let's have a look at the street. Piwna Street is the longest street in Old Warsaw. In the past, many people that were living here were running the breweries, as well as the monks that were brought here and had their church. During World War II, most of these houses that you can see here were totally destroyed and afterwards reconstructed. One of the interesting elements that we can see at one of the houses here is related to the history from the war period. If you look at the house above the doors, you can see 11 doves, pigeons, that sat above the door frame. This commemorates a lady that lived here in the 20th century. This lady was famous for feeding the birds. And when the city was totally destroyed after Warsaw Uprising in 1944, soon after the Germans left and the Soviets entered the city, the lady decided to come back here, even though all the street was razed to the ground, here were only the ruins, and she came here to continue feeding the birds. That's why after the reconstruction, the lady was commemorated, and these 11 pigeons sat at the door frames. Let's go further and let's have a look at one of the churches that is located at Piwna Street, which is the Church of Saint Martin. Those were the monks from this church, the Augustinians, who in the beginning were also brewing their own beer. This church was famous not only as the place of worship, but also as the place where our local nobility in the 16th century was meeting. So probably these gentlemen that are coming here for the meetings were also trying a bit of the beer that the monks was making. Even though you can see the Baroque style facade, the church was destroyed during the World War II and reconstructed. So once you are here in Warsaw, I recommend you to go inside and see very modern interiors of the church designed by one of the nuns after the war, and a very interesting crucifix which combines the original one and the new part made after World War II. Walking on Piwna Street, it's worth to have a look around the houses that you are passing and look also a little bit up, not only on the ground floor, because here you can see many very nicely done metal elements, like the mermaid that you can see, which was above the bookstore that was here. These elements were also made after the Second World War by the artists who were reconstructing the Old Town of Warsaw and were advertising different places and shops that were here. One of my favorite ones, right now above the store which sells amber and amber jewelry, is the one which presents a needle and a button over there. We get to the crossing of Piwna and Piekarska Street. Here you have to choose. Do you want to go to see the city walls, or maybe you prefer to jump to the market square?